You're in the Situation Room. Happening now. Top Republican lawmakers confronting the White House with more possible evidence that repeated security warnings were ignored before the deadly Libya consulate attack. Plus, a Republican congressman ignites a political firestorm, calling the decision to allow an abortion when the mother's life is at risk a political, quote, tool. Just ahead, what it could mean for his heated re-election battle. And just when you thought the presidential race couldn't get any nastier, the candidates soften in a rare moment of comic relief.
It's nice to finally relax and to wear what Ann and I wear around the house.
I had a lot more energy in our second debate. I felt really well rested after the nice long nap I had in the first debate.
We want to welcome our viewers in the United States and around the world. I'm Wolf Blitzer. You're in the Situation Room. First, to what could be more potentially damaging evidence against the White House in the wake of the Libya attack that killed the United States ambassador and 3 other Americans. Top Republicans on Capitol Hill have just sent a letter to President Obama. They are charging again that repeated requests for increased security were not only rejected by the administration before the attack occurred, but also undermined the diplomatic mission of the United States in the region. CNN Foreign Affairs reporter Elise Labott has been going through the documents, and Elise is joining us right now. What are you learning, Elise?
Well, Wolf, the Committee on Oversight on Government Reform released about 100 documents, over 100 documents. One of the things you get, Wolf, is really the heightened concern about the unraveling security situation in Benghazi in the months leading up to the attack. One cable from June 25th, about 2 weeks after the consulate was already attacked by an IED. Look at these pictures of the aftermath, Wolf. You can really see the damage to the outside of the main building, which was really extensive. And I was told by extra security personnel were brought in to guard the building until it was fixed. Now, the cable said that the Libyans believe this attack and others against Westerners were the work of extremists who were opposed to Western influence in Libya. Serious concerns, Wolf, about this Libyans' ability to protect the Americans. A cable from August 8th, a month before the attack, said that even the head of the Libyan Supreme Security Council, Benghazi, admitted his own men had not coalesced into an effective, stable security force. The cable warned Wolf that the government was reluctant to confront the extremists. So a lot of concern there about not only the security, but the Libyans' ability to protect America.
What about requests for extra security?
Well, one of the most interesting documents was an exchange with Eric Nordstrom. Now, he was the lead security officer in Libya who testified last week about hearing. He said that there was as early as February, he was warning he didn't have enough men. He was curtailing diplomats' ability to get out in Benghazi. He couldn't even move around because he didn't have enough men, Wolf. And the U.S. felt it was so important during this election period to get out there. He warned that having no movements for almost upwards of 10 days severely limited operations in Benghazi. Wolf, he goes on to say, I have been placed in a very difficult spot. And the security professionals warned that 5 armed guards, most of, the other countries in Benghazi at the time had about 5 security guards. The U.S. wanted 5. Sometimes there were 5. Sometimes there were 3. And even some of these other countries pulled out of Benghazi because they felt it was too dangerous.
Was there anything specific in these documents about threats to Ambassador Stevens?
Well, no specific threats to him per se, but take a look at this Facebook page. The committee released not only a Facebook page, but it was one of this extremist groups that warned not only about, there was a picture of Chris Stevens, I think we're going to bring that picture up, but also said that they were very concerned about drone attacks in Libya. And there was a U.S. drone, actually, Wolf, that actually targeted this group in Libya, one of their training camps.
Elise, thanks very much for that report. Let's get to our chief White House correspondent, Jessica Yellen. She's been talking to her sources. She's getting reaction. What are you learning, Jessica?
Well, Wolf, the White House is not commenting on the document release, but senior administration officials, they continue to maintain that in time we will learn that intelligence backs up what the administration was saying all along, that this will prove to be not an attack that had been pre-planned, and in time we will probably learn that what Susan Rice had said on that morning show was accurate. But we will have to wait and see that over time as more intelligence comes in, Wolf.
The ranking Democrat on the committee has written a blistering letter responding to the Chairman Issa, a letter that goes point by point by point, claiming that Chairman Issa and the Republicans on the committee completely ignore sworn testimony provided to the committee, recklessly omit contradictory information from the very same documents it quotes, irresponsibly promotes inaccurate information, and makes numerous allegations with no evidence to substantiate them. Elijah Cummings, the ranking Democrat, insisting this is just Republican attacks on the president right now in advance of Monday night's debate. What are you hearing from the White House as far as the charges, the counter charges that Elijah Cummings, the ranking Democrat on this committee, is making?
They maintain that they are reading through the documents now and they don't want to comment at all while they're still going through the documents. The larger pullback on that, Wolf, is that this is a political fight at this point, and they aren't going to weigh into it, at least in these hours on a Friday night. But I think that there's no choice but that the president will weigh in on Monday night when he's asked about this at the debate. You know it's going to be a major topic that night. It
certainly will be. I wouldn't be surprised if it's the first item on the agenda Monday night. On another matter, the president is unleashing a new line of attack out there on the campaign trail, something called romnesia. Yeah. What's going on?
Well, the president is stepping up his one-liners on the campaign trail. Today he was in Virginia, where some early voting has started. And, you know, 5 times he told the crowd of roughly 9,000 to get out and vote, a sign that the campaign is really pushing to drum up some of the enthusiasm among their crowd and turn out their people. He found a new way to deliver his message that Romney has been changing positions. Here it is.
I mean, he's changing up so much and backtracking and sidestepping. We've got to name this condition that he's going through. I think it's called romnesia. That's what it's called. I think that's what he's going through. If you say earlier in the year, I'm going to give a tax cut to the top 1%, and then in a debate you say, I don't know anything about giving tax cuts to rich folks. You need to, you need to get a thermometer and take your temperature, because you probably got romnesia.
Well, Wolf, the Romney campaign didn't let that go unanswered. Campaign advisor Kevin Madden issued a statement saying President Obama cannot get serious on the campaign trail. He's conducting a small campaign that fails to rise up to the big challenges the country is facing. And some of those challenges will come up at that debate, as we discussed, Wolf. And President Obama is headed now as we speak to Camp David, where he will head into debate prep for this final foreign policy debate.
Interesting that he decided to do the preparation at Camp David this time. We'll be watching, obviously, getting ready for Monday night. Let's bring in Candy Crowley, who's been watching all of this unfold as well. Candy, what we call this document dump, this release of all these documents by the Republican chairman of this Governmental Affairs Committee, Darrell Issa, and this really blistering response from the ranking Democrat, Elijah Cummings, saying it's just political maneuvering, selected documents, telling only part of the story. How big of an issue is this going to be?
We'll see. I mean, obviously the Republicans want to push this. They say, listen, this is about the security of a U.S. Facility in Benghazi, that they should have known because there had been previous attacks, that there were warnings, and more than that, there are stories out there that folks knew within 24 hours essentially what had happened, or at least what sort of attack it was. So if this, begins to look as though it's incompetent in the face of, needing to protect U.S. interests, that's a huge problem. This is still an economy-based election. That's still what it's going to be about. But as we see, it's very close. So anywhere you can get traction, and this may well be it. We'll see where it goes on Monday night. Anywhere you can get traction is where you want to go.
Yeah, with only 18 days left to go.